Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Austin Tech Small Business Roundtable. This is a roundtable that I do once a month to talk about issues and topics that matter to your business. Started this process over a year ago, working with different organizations who would like to come and share their expertise with those in the community, whether you're an individual, small base, home based business. We welcome everyone to come in and get this free information. There's no cost to come into the Small Business Roundtable. And we just are really excited about sharing information, especially myself. My name is Ann Alston. I am the owner of Austin Tech and love to share this kind of stuff, right? Love this stuff. So today we're going to be talking about the 7 steps to creating a virtual business and know your niche. And so we're going to be covering that because since the pandemic, there have been a lot of businesses that went under because they did not have any sort of virtual component with their business. And so hopefully with this presentation that you will get an idea of what type of things that you can implement in your business that will help you not only have clients in person, but you'll be able to have clients who are virtual as well. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. And of course, you guys, if you have any questions, just go ahead and shout out since it's just small. Housekeeping rules, because this is a virtual setting, just ask if you can please mute your mic so that others can hear the content and that the video will not switch between me and someone who's making a noise. So if you can please put your mic on mute until you have a question. If you have trouble with the video, just go ahead and troubleshoot, disconnect, do whatever you need to do to get back on and then come on back in. If you have a question, just put it in the chat window and I will address your question. Or since we're a small group, I'm just going to go ahead and say unmute your mic and ask your question. And most importantly, let's have fun. Let's have fun and learn the information because that's really what it's all about. Okay, so I'm just going to briefly introduce myself. My name is Ann Alston. I'm the owner, of course, and a business strategist and facilitator. I've been in the business for 24 years. I work with lots of small businesses, helping them develop their core and to help them be a sustainable business. Started off in career development as well, and have moved that service over to my nonprofit Destination Achievers. A little bit about Austin Tech. We started back in 1997 as desktop publishing and IT support and relaunched our business, adding more consultation services as we as a small business are growing, working with different people. So most of my work consists of me as the owner, my husband as a co-founder, and we work with a lot of partners, and we also hire interns and other outsourced staff to help with the work. Some of the partnerships you see on the screen here, University of Phoenix and some of the other ones here are actual partners and clients that we have that provide this type of service to our clients. So you can follow me on Instagram, not Instagram. I think I used to have Instagram, but you can follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, email, and Facebook. So you can definitely do that. Okay, so we're going to go down the agenda items. We're going to be talking about 7 steps to creating a virtual business or trying to implement some sort of a virtual platform to what you already have. So these are the elements that we're going to talk about. What elements do you need to have to even start off? I know that I started off virtually in this business and definitely understood that to be virtual, you're literally giving up a little bit of yourself in this because this means to be virtual, you have to be open to people. You have to show your face. You have to be able to talk to people. There may be times where you feel a bit vulnerable. And so in this presentation, I'm going to help give you some information that will help you try to build a little bit of confidence with that because I was definitely nervous with it, with my virtual platform. And then, of course, when I started the podcast and my magazine, it really required me to open up a whole lot more and be a little bit more vulnerable so that I can learn a little bit more. The other thing we're going to talk about, second thing we're going to talk about is initial concept in your business niche. In order to have a virtual business, you have to have some sort of a niche. And we're going to talk about that because if you're starting a business, or even if you're adding an element because you have a business already and you are not virtual, believe it or not, you got to have a niche to match the virtual platform that you're putting out. So you don't want to, just because you have a business right now and you see people in person, it's definitely not going to be the same when you have something that is virtual, okay? And how do you do that? We're going to talk about building an online presence. How do you get people to follow you? And how do you even get the right audience? Because as I said, to the students in the class, is that even though you are building an online presence for everybody, you're really targeting and trying to reach out to that special person that wants what you have or maybe need what you have, and kind of build your business that way. So online presence is definitely really, really helpful. So we're going to be talking about that. We're also going to talk about how you can leverage and use business to business partnerships and strategic alliances to help scale your business. So after you get your business going and you're all virtual and everything, then the next step is how do you scale that business to the next level? And then we're also going to say, where do you get help? So we're going to begin with that. And again, if you have any questions, just, hit the raise hand and you can unmute your mic and answer ask question. So we're just going to move on from here. Okay, so what are the pros and cons? When we think about a virtual business, we all know that people nowadays, today, they're using YouTube, they're using TikTok, they're using all kind of different like social media platforms that are popping up now. Some of them I know about, some of them I'm familiar about, but it really takes us to really sit down and say, okay, how many social media channels are there really out there? And if I choose to not use any social media, how can I take what I know and turn it into a business that can not only be in person, but also be virtual? So it all really depends on what your niche or your concept really is. But before you even go there, we really have to talk about the pros and the cons. What are the pros of having a virtual business versus having something that is a brick and mortar or maybe your home-based business. So we're going to cover a little bit of that. Okay, so the very first thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about the pros and cons of having a brick and mortar versus a virtual business. So the very first thing is, and because I had an office and I kind of got both sides of the scale, being virtual and then having a brick and mortar and then turn around and be virtual again, right? The definite instant gratification, I would say is always instant gratification, is building instant credibility. The moment that you have a brick and mortar, you have an office, you have an actual address, immediately you have a different level of credibility to your business. You have a very different level. Most businesses will actually treat you a little bit better because they look at you as really being serious. Not saying that you can't be serious having a home-based business. It's just that they want to be able to see that you're able to scale from where you are to a brick and mortar business. You actually have a real address with a real fax machine, with a real office. They can actually come and see you in person, right? And because of that, you can scale up and have staff. You can have people that outsource like I did. I had outsourced staff who was in my office that was helping me. And so when I had clients come in, they were like kind of impressed, like, oh, wow, she's really scaling her business. She's growing. Now, as a virtual business, it's a little bit harder, right? Because that means you have to have a space dedicated somewhere in your home or wherever, a virtual office or somewhere that you can call your space, that maybe people can come and visit you. Most people who have a home-based business don't have that dedicated space where they can actually invite their clients to come see them. What end up happening is that you end up going to get on, a thing. So for the pros, you can really have an office just about anywhere. You can be anywhere on your phone. You can go to a virtual space. You can outsource all your work, and you can totally be like in the ether of the internet and the cloud, right? That is a definite pro. A lot of people on YouTube are doing it. They literally getting a dedicated space somewhere in their house, and they're putting up their videos, and they are making their business big, right? But there's a lot of cons with that, right? There's a lot of pros, but then there's a lot of cons, and we're going to talk about that. The other pro to having a brick and mortar is that things can be very, very intimate, right? When you are in a space that's an office and you're one on one with that person, you are very intimate and having that relationship right there face to face. There's more comfortability there than over the phone or on email or even on this video camera, even though you're looking at me and I'm looking at you. They can be some level of comfortability, but it's nothing like meeting someone in person, right? With virtual, you can literally like reach so many people on YouTube. If you take YouTube, for example, YouTube is live and people are joining and they looking at it live, just like Facebook, but where's the intimacy? You can't really like respond right away. There's a huge delay between you communicating to them and they trying to reciprocate a communication to you. So you lose that little bit of connection with your customer or your potential customer. With the brick and mortar, there's a professional attire attached because you want to look your best at the brick and mortar place. So when you have an office and you have clients coming in, you're going to dress up unless you have like a dress down or it's casual. But when you're virtual, you can sort of have a 50-50. We know we dress up this way and there's nothing going on down here, right? So we can actually have a dress down. We can, just like we have an informal right now, I'm not particularly dressed up because we're virtual and we're actually very, very comfortable, which is what we want, right? But again, there's some cons. So let's look at the cons. Okay. So having a brick and mortar, now you have a lease. So now you're responsible for an office all the time. You must pay it on time or you would get evicted. So that's the con. You also have overhead expenses. So if you are paying for monthly for telephone or internet or anything that is a recurring cost every single month for your office, that it could turn into a con because now that money that you would have been using for your business is now going into a lease and an office space that you could be using for your business. That money can go to marketing, that money can go to anything else that can help your business, like maybe hiring someone or an intern that can do a service for you, or maybe sales for you, or anything that will bring your business to the next level. You're literally taking that money and putting it in there. The pro, however, is that you can write off some of those expenses in your thing. You can definitely write it off. And turn this off. I apologize. Somebody's like trying to call me. And you can actually take out some of those office expenses to your 1040 tax form where you can claim that as a home-based business as well. So you have like a double deduction. Not only do you have the expenses that's going to be on your business taxes, but you can also pass through, if you're an LLC, you can pass through some of those deductions and actually have the credit to you on your taxes, giving you a bigger refund. Okay, so there's sort of a pro and con there. Now, when you're virtual, the con is that you have to rent and lease a space if you need to. So if you're doing a podcast and you don't really have a space, or you can't really find some place quiet enough to do a podcast, or maybe a video, or maybe you need to meet people in person, or maybe the setup that you're trying to do requires just bigger than what you by yourself. Will want to have a virtual space, right? Now, the con is that you can get a virtual space, but it's not yours. You can't set it up and just leave it. You have to set it up, use it, take it with you. Or you can spend more money and try to get a dedicated office. But then again, in a virtual office space is mostly shared. So you'll be paying a lot of money. You might as well go ahead and get a brick and mortar and pay a regular lease if you're going to do that. The other thing too is that there's no overhead. You don't have to pay for any other equipment. You don't have to worry about sharing your space, but you're very limited on how you're going to work with people who's going to help you with your virtual platform because it'll just be you. If you just take a look at some of the folks that are doing stuff like Dave Ramsey, or maybe people who do like the Red Table, you see Jada Smith, you notice they have like a big space where they can allow, big pieces of equipment and still get the same effect. If you don't have that for your virtual platform, then it's going to be kind of difficult for you to kind of make that happen in your home. So you have to kind of look at the weigh the pros and cons of that. The other thing about a brick and mortar business for the con, you may have to invest more money to advertise to a broader audience to get your customers, but that's a plus for you because now you're actually still bringing people into the office to build that relationship. So you're actually letting people know that you are in the neighborhood and that they can drive up and see you at any time and make an appointment. That is definitely a plus. I had that happen all the time in my business where people just knock on the door and say, hey, I want to talk to someone about business development, or I want to talk to somebody about business plans. And, my assistant would be there or I would be there and we will literally talk to the person. Right. So that's a con and a plus. Also, the one thing about a con for virtual is that you may have access to a broader audience, but you will have to pay more in social media ads, and you still may or may not have an email or a name to put to. So you're sort of chasing a ghost. So if you were to do up an ad, which costs nothing, you could do that yourself. You would actually go ahead and pay for the Facebook ad or the Instagram ad, and it goes out and they control who sees the ad, right? So you will get a like, you'll get a comment, but you're not really getting a person. So you're spending money with the hopes that you will get a person versus if you advertise, you actually have a neighborhood that you can target and that could drill down to an actual person and a location, if that makes sense. Okay. And if I'm going too fast, please let me know. Okay. Also, based on your entity type, that for virtual, your entity type dictates what taxes that you're going to be obligated to pay. When you have a brick and mortar, in addition to your regular business taxes, you will be liable for local county tax. So if you're in Prince George's County or Montgomery County, wherever you are in that subdivision and where your office is located, you will get a tax bill at the end of the year. Just like if you have a house and you get a county tax bill, you're going to get the same thing for your business. And you may even get a small little county tax bill where your home office is. So I got two. I got one for my office and I got one for my home business because I was claiming that as a home-based business as well. But if you're virtual, depending on your entity type, there is no county taxes to pay because you're literally in the cloud. But you still have to pay your annual property tax. You still have to pay your regular business tax. You just will not have that extra. Now you may get, depending on your entity type, a bill for the house that you claim for your home-based business. And that might be 13 square feet of your home, probably less than $100 or something like that. But if you was to have an office, however, with furniture and a space, that bill can easily be $600 to $1,000, depending on how big your space is. Okay, so that is definitely something to think about. Also, when you have a brick and mortar, you get really comfortable. I'm not gonna lie, I got really comfortable in my office. I didn't have to worry about anything. It was professional. I was not thinking at the time that I would ever go back to being virtual because all the customers came to me and I didn't have to really worry about that. But the con is for virtual is that sometimes the professionalism starts to lack, right? So if you're used to doing a video every week and you have like a nice background and your makeup is nice and everything is good, and then you decide you don't want to put on makeup that day and you got shadows in your face, or maybe the background you used wasn't so great, then people who are looking at your video will start paying more attention to that than what you're trying to say. So, sometimes the professionalism can sometimes lack, which can keep people from wanting to follow you, or maybe they would get bored. So with the virtual platform, you have to work extra hard to keep their attention. If you think about television, and commercials, you notice that more and more commercials are getting funnier, more entertaining, more outlandish, doesn't even make sense, right? They're doing that because they want you to watch the entire commercial. They know the commercials are annoying, but what they're trying to do is make commercials fun so that you will watch the entire thing. and be sold to at the same time. So just kind of think about that when you're doing virtual, because it's sort of the same thing. If you check out all the YouTube channels, you know there's a little bit of entertainment in all of those videos. Okay, so let's get into the elements. But before that, I wanted to know if anyone had any questions about some of the stuff I just talked about. No questions? Okay. All right. So we're going to get into step one, the elements of doing the business. So what do you need? Okay. The first thing you're going to need, it definitely is a business concept. Okay. So whether you already have a business or whether you are starting up for the first time, you're going to need to have a business concept that has a message and a strategy plan. Okay. So I'm just going to break this down a little bit. So your business concept is your initial idea of why you want to do a virtual platform. What is the message? What are people going to be listening to? What is the purpose and the point of the message? And then you're going to use a strategy plan, which is really your niche, on how you're going to do that. And all of this, your customer has to understand exactly what it is that you are trying to provide to them, right? What is the niche? Your niche is actually a makeup of all of this stuff that you're going to put together and provide to the customer so that they can see what you're trying and understand what you're trying to relate to them so that you can convert them to a buyer. Also, you're going to need the time and the schedule for live streaming and pre-recording. And really, I should have added on here video editing, which is a very, very important component to virtualism. I'm going to say the virtualism, that's the word, right? So virtualism, you definitely need this aspect right here. First, it takes time to actually just do the video. Like right now, I had to plan this out. I had to put out certain advertisements. I had to get people to register. And today, we had 20 registrations. And out of there, a percentage of that will show up or may not show up. So, we have the people on here who actually really want to be here. But that took time. It took time and effort for me to actually live stream this or pre-record this, right? And then after I pre-record it, I have to edit it for clarity or edit it to make sure that all of the elements that I want to relay in that message is going to come out. And then I'm going to find a platform that I'm going to use this video on, right? I'm going to find a way to come up with a marketing and strategy plan that matches my message, right? So your concept, which is your idea, and that idea has a message, and your marketing and strategy plan has to match all of that. And so they both have to work not only in person, but it also has to work virtually so that you have a backup to your business. So you want to make sure that you can do your business in person, and you want to take that same platform and be able to convert that over to a virtual platform and vice versa. So that's what you want to do. You also want to build an online presence along the way. You want to have a likability. You want to have the branding. You want to have all the elements that people are liking about your product and services along with your message. So all of this together. You're also going to need to have the proper video and audio equipment and software. Pretty much the setup that you see that I have here, I had to actually invest in this equipment because I wanted to have clear video. I wanted to have the virtual background. I wanted to have all of the things that I wanted to have to say, hey, look at me. I'm very professional. I have this nice video done look great, right? And I need people's attention. So I can't do that if I have like choppy video or messed up audio and they can't hear and understand what I'm saying. So proper video and audio is key. You must have that. Number 6, you have to monetize. So we're going to talk about that too. How do you actually make money from your virtual platform? So that's what we're going to talk about. And establishing partnerships, we talked about before, and we're going to go right into step 2. So step 1 is actually learning the elements. Learning the elements. Looks like I got caught there. Okay, learning the elements of your virtual business. Okay, so here they are again. What do you need? These are the 7 things that you're going to need in step 1. Okay, so step 1, you're going to have a message or an idea. You're going to have a strategy plan you're going to come up with. You're going to figure out how long it's going to take you to do the videos and actually get them edited up on site. Okay. You got to have a marketing plan, a strategy on how you're going to use that video, okay, to attract your customer or attract the people that you're trying to do. And we're going to talk about that. While you're doing that, the whole goal is to build an online presence. Okay, so you want to make sure you do that with the proper video and audio equipment that you're going to need. And then that is going to help you monetize so that you can make money for your business. And then you're going to do partnerships. So that's step one of just having a list of what you need. So we're just going to go talk about the next thing. So what is this message that I keep talking about, right? So you guys are hearing me say message. And again, if you have any questions, put in the chat window or you raise your hand, I will answer it. So your message is basically your actual niche. It is the secret sauce. It is the thing that has people just wanting to know what you know, right? Or having to buy what, you want to buy their product and you're like, okay, I want them to really like my stuff. I want them to like it so much. Like Chick-fil-A, oh my God, people are in line for like hours to get a chicken sandwich. I don't even understand why. But that's the business niche that they have, customer service and great taste for their food. What is it about your virtual platform? What is business to business? So business to business, somebody asked a question, is how you work with other businesses to scale and grow your business. So we're going to talk about that. Okay, so for any business to be profitable, okay, so the first thing is for any business to be profitable, doesn't matter if you're virtual or brick and mortar, you must have a concept that the message is talking directly to the customer. Even though your advertisement is going out to everyone, that message has to talk to that person. Okay, they have to understand and relate to it. They have to have an emotion attached to it, saying, oh, you know what, I think this is going to help me. I think I'm really feeling this thing. I know that this is something I'm really interested in. I want to know more about, right? When the customer understands your concept, they will buy into your belief if you present it the right way. So there's a lot of people who get attention, but they may not necessarily present it the right way. And so that's really important for the customer to really buy into it so that they understand your cause, they understand the reason why you are selling them that product and they're comfortable with that. And they're happy to buy it because that's when you know that they really love what you have and then they will share it with their friends, okay? And when they're satisfied, again, they will share it with their network. They would say, hey, I got this product and it is fantastic. You see it all the time on YouTube. You see it all the time everywhere where people get on there and say, hey, I want to do a review. They're not even getting paid for some of this stuff. They just literally just, they're just joining in, right? And they're telling people about it. And that is the niche. You just keep doing that one niche. You have to really know it inside and out. Now, how do you really build that? So here are some questions that you need to ask yourself. What service are you really selling? And I know my students already heard me say this, right? Okay. What are you really selling someone when you are putting together your niche? So that means understanding fully what your service or your product is going to give them. You're going to give them a purpose of the product, and then you're going to give them the benefit of your product, right? What is it really helping? What problem is it solving? Right? And we hear that all the time in business, but it really is true. If you're not solving the customer's problem, you're not really providing a value to them. Okay. What is the message your company is broadcasting? When people see ALSTNTEC and they see anything else I'm doing, what is the message? I want them to know what I'm all about. The moment they see my brand, the moment they see me on video, they know exactly who I am and what I'm about. And because the message is very clear. That is part of your niche to be rememberable, right? Who is your target and how you're resolving their problem? That comes with data analytics. So just knowing, going into social media, going into the analytics and say, okay, well, it looks like my audience is between 25 and 36. It looks like they're over on the East Coast. It looks like they like these type of categories and tags. You have to kind of whittle it down until you can understand the person behind those demographics. So that's really important. And what value you're adding to the customer is going to be based on what you found out about that customer. What are the one or two things that you do that only you do that make it very unique? So if you look at Kentucky Fried Chicken, Bojangles, and I think the other chicken place, they all fried chicken, but they all season it. Popeyes, they all season it differently. It all tastes different. It looks different. So they have that one thing that makes them different between the three. So what is it about what you're trying to do in your idea, your concept, or your business, your current business, that is making you stand out that only you can provide? Okay. And then also you have to say, even within those one or two things, what is that special thing? What is that like special thing that just make people go crazy that it will be part of your niche, right? So, and you package that up into a nice little bowl and you have something that you can sell virtually. Okay, so how do you create this niche on paper? And some of the students know this too. I'll always holler this because I think that the business marketing strand, your strategy plan from your business plan is the key. Business plans get a bad rap, but I some swear, I just swear by them because it helped my business so much. If I did not have a business plan, I probably wouldn't have some of the opportunities that I had. First step you want to do is you need to learn the industry participants. This is in your business plan. Going to be talking about this on Saturday with students. Is what are you doing that other people are not doing? So that only comes from researching your actual industry participants. These are the folks who are living and breathing, who have done it for long periods of time, that have a method to their madness. They know the market, they know the individuals, and they know how to reach them. Okay, so you need to know who those people are. How do they distribute their products and get the message out? Is number two. How do they know what customers to find and where to market? How do they know where to invest their money to send advertisement to a certain locale, right? So that's something that you have to kind of figure out, because as a virtual business, you are susceptible to the whole entire world. So you don't have that kind of money to market to that many people. So what do you do about that? You really need to narrow this down to a certain demographic and understand who is in that demographic area that you need to focus on. You want to narrow that number down so that you can have affordability to market to those people if you know that they're the right folks, right? Also, by behaviors, what type of behaviors do they have? Do they love emailing? Do they like text messages? Do they like picking up the phone? Do they like all the other type of things that your product aligns to? If the customer don't align to what you're selling, don't waste your money spending advertisement in that neighborhood. You want to try to pick a neighborhood where the majority of the people sort of aligns or maybe will have an interest in what you're trying to do. And all of that is going to come through your strategy and tactical. Tactical means how you're going to do it on a strategic levels that you have steps to follow. So your strategy is going to be, okay, I think I want to do this. Your tactic is going to be how you're going to do it and when you're going to do it, right? So that's what you want to do. The second step you want to do is, after you kind of get a general idea of your core demographics, you're going to try to research the type of person that it will be. So their buyer behavior, meaning, if they like t-shirts, or if they like business development, if they love mentoring, or if they love going to church, if this is what you offer and it aligns what you do, then you want to offer that easily to them and have a strategy when they ask a question. When they ask a question, you want to be able to answer them and draw them into you in the conversation so that you can align your niche with the customer's needs. So that is really the key of this whole thing, right? So hopefully I made some sense there that you guys got that. Did you have any questions at all about any of what I just kind of broke down? Anybody? I guess I'm rolling, huh? So, okay, so we're going to keep going. Okay, so developing a business plan will definitely help you build your niche. Okay, so we have on the screen here the benefits of a business plan, and then you also have the other side, which is a pitch deck. Now, what is the difference? So here on the traditional business plan, I probably won't read all of this, but basically with a traditional business plan, if you are looking for funding, if you are looking to like look for funding, matter of fact, to get a product, let's say you need $50,000 or even 20, maybe like $20,000, go a little lower to buy products to sell online. Okay. You need to have a traditional business plan. You need that business plan to show credibility, not only about your business, but credibility on how you strategize on paying that money back. Okay. You also need to talk about how you plan to market. How do you scale your business? What is your what type of loans that you're going to try to get? What is your contribution, right? And so if you are trying to do that kind of business, or even if you're trying to flip houses, you have to get your credit straight while you have this done. So the traditional bank, business plan is really for those, banks that have really good underwriters that is going to gauge your credibility along with your ability to pay back a loan. You're also going to need it to open up a bank account. You might need it to get grants and funding or have a sponsorship. Sometimes they'll ask you for your business plan, maybe like a redacted type of version so they can see. If you're a nonprofit, they definitely going to need to know about your business. And what you could do is take that business plan that you develop and create those proposals that you need for your grants, right? And also, it's a living document. So as your business scales, this plan will scale with you, which is excellent. Now, a pitch deck is a skimmed down version of a traditional business plan. It is really meant for angel investors, it's meant for people who don't have a lot of time to read a whole scale business plan. They may be people like myself that say, hey, I'm willing to give $50,000 to a business, send me your proposal or your pitch deck, and you would send me a PowerPoint with like maybe 15 slides, and then you would give me a verbal presentation about your pitch. And then I may ask you for some additional detail, and I just want a quick look at what you're doing. So you would send me a presentation with your media kit, with your photo and all the stuff. And then that is your actual lean business plan. Can you get loans with that? Probably with an angel investor who requires a pitch deck, but you still want to start with the traditional business plan. And the reason is because that business plan is the key to your entire business and your niche, and you can pull so much information from that thing. If you just do a lean deck, you're going to find yourself going back doing a traditional business plan sooner or later. So you really want to start with a traditional business plan first, and then pull pieces of that information and go into a pitch deck. So that's really important. So step three, okay, so basically what we're going to need is video platform equipment, right? So you definitely want to have a very nice quad area in your house, okay, to start out. I would highly suggest that you pick like a place that has like few distractions, okay, especially if you don't have something like a green screen or a nice background that you can sit in front of, or you want to have enough lighting so people can see you. You need to have an HD camera. Some webcams are okay, but they have a lot of lag. So invest in a really good camera. And I'm going to give you some places where you can look for virtual equipment. You definitely can use ring lights. Those are really popular these days, but honestly, as a small business, you can really go on Amazon right now, and I'm pretty sure the prices might went up, but you can go on Amazon and purchase some photo lights like I have here in my house. I have some photo lights that comes with the green screen kit and the white background and also the other diffusers. And you can get that for less than $100 shipped to your house, and you can use them any which way that you would like, in your home. There are plenty of companies that sell green screen, but you want to make sure that you get the right color of green. Everybody don't sell the right color of green for a really good green screen. So do your research. You will know it because everybody will show the same green color every time. If you get too light of a green, you might get shadows. If you get too dark of a green, it give you more shadows that you want on your face. But you want to make sure you get the right one. So do your research. If you must use a virtual background, like I'm using right now, just make sure that you get a picture or photo that looks really, really clear and very realistic. So as you can tell right here, this is not my house. Okay, this is not my house. This is not my background. And of course, I have my brand up there. Just that's not it. That's just another layer. So if you look at the example, you notice I'm not washed out. It looks very, very professional. You really need to like do your homework to find that so that you can have the best professional look possible, right? That's really, and then you also, if you just don't have a space in your house or if it's just too noisy, this is the reason why you will want to lease a space so that you can have a dedicated space. I can't stress enough by having a dedicated space because not having one will cause you a lot of headache and stress because you're moving all around your home and the lighting may not be great that day. It may be rainy and dim. You want to make sure you have a space where you can sit your equipment safely, where there's no interruption, no distractions, and that your equipment will be safe. Okay, so you definitely will want to do that. Okay, for the video audio software, number one is Adobe Creative Suite. I use Premiere Pro. I'm actually going to be trying Adobe Audition just to see what that's like. But my kids, who does a lot of my videos editing and have taught me so much on video editing, have used Premiere Pro and After Effects. And there's another program my son used, I believe it's called Clip Studio or something like that, where he actually takes the video and puts it into the software. And then he exports it out to After Effects. And I like Adobe Premiere Pro. It's just easier for me. But it's definitely affordable. For like 20 bucks a month, you can get the whole entire Adobe suite and you can actually use those programs interchangeably. They have online videos. There's tons and tons of information on how to do something in terms of video editing. Video editing is probably the third and most important thing you want for virtual business because you do not want to try to pay thousands of dollars for someone to edit your video. I am a video editor and I know how much I charge. And people are like, hold up, but I don't charge as much as most people do, okay? You want to be able to edit your own video so that you can do a video with a snap and you can just edit it and just keep on moving, right? So that's one of them. If Adobe Creative is too hard, you can kind of come down to OBS. I'm using OBS right now. It is a free software that you can download from the internet. And you can do stuff like what I'm doing right now. You can have your camera here. You can use a virtual background like I'm using. You can layer it where you have me, the background, and then my brand. And you can actually stream using OBS to Zoom, just like I'm doing now, or Facebook or Twitch or any other platform. It has a compatibility to it. You can also share your screen and you can do awesome little things. So like if I was to do this, as you can see, I'm little right here as a virtual. So if I had an online course, I could definitely show my presentation here and I still will be in the screen, as you can see right here. So I'm going back to big, I'm big again. Okay. Zoom is another one that you can use. You can host up to 1,000 participants. You can live stream to YouTube, you can Facebook people, and you can use a virtual background. And what's really nice is you can use OBS and Zoom together. So right now I'm using OBS to do my virtual, and then you can put that in Zoom and like right now I'm recording, and I also can record, not only record, but I can also Zoom, Facebook, and record at the same time. So that's really going to be awesome, right? You could do quick Google Meetings. Google Meetings, you can definitely use that for your virtual platform. It is definitely free. They are very limited in their capability, but you can still have a lot of people on and everybody can share their screen if they want to. It's very highly interactive and millions of people use it. And then there, of course, there's other online live streaming platforms out there, too many to name, but the ones I have on the screen are the most popular. that people use. So having a dedicated space with professional equipment and also a way to live stream your video is how you're going to bring a little bit of virtualism to your business. Okay, so in this slide right here, here are the I would say the top 6 companies right now that are selling audio, video equipment, from podcasts to computer stereos, laptops, microphones, speakers, mixers, cameras. They have it all. They have it all. You can pretty much do a Google search or Yahoo, or not Google search or Yahoo, but a Google search and a YouTube search, and you will see how many people are using equipment from these locations. I am actually using Logitech professional camera for video conferencing, which is a Super HD 1080p, with a really, really sharp lens. And I do plan to go to Canon and see if I can get even a sharper lens. And so I literally spent probably no more than $1,500 for my whole setup, which isn't bad because people have spent a whole lot more just on the audio equipment alone. So this is definitely something that you can definitely afford to do. You can buy these things in pieces. You can do microphone here, maybe another 2 weeks, go get your camera, another couple of weeks, get yourself a new laptop. You could definitely piecemeal this out until you have the whole setup, which is what I highly advise. I would not go out there as a small business and try to use like a credit card to buy all this stuff. Use your paycheck to purchase your equipment so that you have it all and you don't go out feeling like you're in debt. You do not want to start your business in debt. So use whatever money resource you have to get your equipment. And then by that time, you should have your niche, your business strategy, you should have your message. All those things should be developed while you are getting your equipment. Okay. Does anybody got any questions? I'm put it out there. I know you guys are looking at me. You're smiling on mute, right? Okay. All right. So we're going to keep it moving. All right. So building an online presence. Okay. So I have 12 things here. The ones in highlight is the ones I'm really going to touch on. So you can feel free to write some of these down. We already talked about a message and all that. The first thing you want to do, besides number one, is before you go out there and put yourself out there online, you need to test your platform. You need to test. You just got to do it, okay? A proof of concept. That might mean hosting a video to see how people take you on video so that you can go back and look at yourself and see how you are coming across on video, audio, and the whole stream, just to make sure that everything is clear, that people are not missing what you're saying or have choppy video. I actually have a private Facebook group that only I'm in that I use to test my Facebook Live. And so I would do my test and then I would go back and watch myself to see, am I having blips? Am I having lag? And is my words in my mouth not matching up? And go back and fix it. Now, the other proof of concept you can do is you can host your first video, your first information session, which is what I have here on number 5. So you hold an information session, you invite some people and you ask them, how do you like the video? Do you want to see more of this type of stuff? And then you kind of do an evaluation on yourself. Now, there's a difference between criticizing yourself and an evaluation for yourself. You want to evaluate based on the replay of the video. Did you miss any important points that you were trying to get across, which is your message, okay? Did you leave out anything in your message that you wanted to get across? That's the first thing. The second thing is you evaluate your body language. Are you frowning too much? Are you smiling too much? Are you looking around too much, right? These are things that's going to help you improve your marketability in doing a virtual platform. So speaking is another one. So speaking was very hard for me until I actually did the podcast. And as you notice, as I was talking, there's not a lot of ums and ahs and skips, right? So you want to be able to look directly into the camera and actually talk to the people or do something similar to what I'm doing, which is trying to align my screens so I can directly look at the customer and also see my points at the same time. So coordinating your online presence and trying to make it as professional as possible is very key. Okay. Also, you want to evaluate how the audience is taking feedback and giving you their thoughts on your video. On even if they don't say anything, if they don't say anything, that's still speaking, if that makes sense. If they're not saying anything, maybe there's something in the video that maybe they're pondering about, and that's where follow-up comes in. Follow-up comes in if you're able to touch upon someone in a video and get their email or their phone number, definitely follow up with them and let them know that, hey, I noticed you in the video. Did you have any questions? And really cater to the person, okay? Cater to the person because nobody likes to be sold to, even though in business you're trying to sell, but you still have to nurture the relationship first before you can actually sell. And you definitely want to take that information and update your practice, your niche, and your business plan. So if your business plan, if you go back and read it, you're going to say, you know what, I was doing this and this proof of concept didn't work. I really need to change the way that I'm approaching. You go into your strategy plan, you go into your sales plan, and also your products and services, and tweak it a little bit and say, well, instead of offering this service because it didn't do so well, I'm going to switch it up because this is working and I'm going to stick with this. And that leads to number 12. Once you get your niche together, it's wash, rinse, repeat. You just don't change the formula. Once you have something that is working, don't change the formula. Now, what you can do is you can add to the formula or maybe take one little thing from the formula, but don't change the overall scope of the formula, if that makes sense. If that one piece is the thing that is working for you, you can try to improve it, but don't change it. And I'll give you a short story. So my podcast was really rolling. I had 75 people I'm interviewing, and then I tried to change the formula on how I was gathering the speakers. And the co-founder was like, if you do that, you're going to lose people. They're not going to do it. That is the core of the whole podcast. If you take that away, then it's not going to work. And I had to go back because I tried like one time, I proof of concept, and he was right. And I went back to the formula and I started getting people again. Okay, so that lets me know that that piece of my business, I can never change that one little piece because if I change that piece, I change the whole message, I change the audience, I lose them, right? Because the message is tagged to the audience. Okay, so if I change the message, that means I'm changing what? The audience. Okay, so just remember that wash, rinse, repeat until it needs to be scaled. So there you go. Okay. So hopefully it is something helpful to you because I know you guys are just like looking and smiling. Okay. All right. So step 5, monetize at your virtual platform. So now that I've taught you all this great stuff on how to start a virtual business, the message, your niche and everything, how do you make money? Okay, from your virtual platform. So from your virtual platform, the first thing you need to do is connect your platform with a payment gateway so you can accept the money coming in. Okay, that could be your website through WooCommerce. That could be PayPal, Stripe, Eventbrite. It could be, any like Cash App. It could be any platform that you can tag the customer that will have a process to make a payment and follow a workflow. Okay, so from the time that they want to buy, you funnel them to a website and then they pay for it and then that money funnels to you. Okay. All right. So that's what you want to do is have an available way for people to pay for the services if they so choose. How are you going to leverage social media? You definitely, again, you have to work extra hard because you're chasing ghosts. Okay. Anyone can have a name in Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. They could be anyone, anywhere. And sometimes those profiles may or may not have an active person who likes to shop. Maybe that person just likes being on social media and they don't have no intention on shopping at all. So when you put your video clips out and your ads, you're going to have to use the demographics that are in the social media ads to really narrow down your customer. So that means going all the way back to the beginning of the presentation, You have to do your homework to find the people who fit the message, and then you market to those people. Okay, how do you repurpose? So, like, there's a website that I've used to move videos from one source to another, and that's called Repurpose Your Content, repurpose.io. Repurpose.io will take your video content, your audio, and stream it out to like 5 or 6 social medias at one time. So, I ended up moving all of my SoundCloud podcasts over to YouTube, and it did it in a matter of like 2 hours. Okay, so that way I did not have to physically upload all those videos. They're all on my new YouTube page, and all I need to do is go and change the thumbnails, and the videos are there. And so you get a chance to repurpose your content over and over and over again as you create it and put it on different platform lines so that you can talk to different people. If anybody has been in one of the classes when I had Leroy McKenzie Jr., one of the things he said was the people who look at social media in the morning is not the ones that look at it in the afternoon, who are not the ones that look at it during lunchtime. So you have to know when your customers are online the most, where you can send out the information, right? And then you also have to be in the room. You have to go to networking events. You have to attend other people's events, whether virtual or in person. You have to spread word of mouth from yourself and from others, and also have sales literature on hand, more than your business card. Okay, business cards are great, but you need to have other types of sales literature that explains what you do, either virtually or in person. So you definitely have to have that so that you can have something downloadable. So downloadable brochures is a very key thing that you can use in a virtual business. When you're in person, you definitely want to have like a 2-page brochure or something where people can take with them. Because the worst thing is you give them all this information verbally, and then they can't regurgitate the information later. So you want to give them something they can remember. Another way you can monetize is free giveaways, checklists, and ebooks. So by giving a gift out, you're not only building your email list, but you have a better chance of converting a buyer because you are giving them information that is valuable to the customer. Some virtual businesses use ClickFunnels. They use some sort of sales strategy to do these type of things. And it tends to work for most people. But again, it all depends on what business you're trying to put together and how you want to deal with your sales strategy. Some people's sales strategy is cold calling, looking up people in LinkedIn, trying to get their phone number and actually calling them and talking to them over the phone. Some people only like text messages, so they'll send like a mass text, and somehow they'll find their phone number, their mobile number, and all of a sudden you have an invitation to a webinar on your cell phone. So giving away things is a plus, but don't give away too much because remember, you're in business to make money. So you don't want to keep giving away stuff if it's not yielding you a rate of return. Okay, so you want to be careful of some of those stuff. Okay. All right, so business to business, here we go. I think Key Marie, that was your question. Okay, so business to business partnership and strategic alliance are actually two different things. Okay, so partnerships are companies who you actually partner with for a single goal to obtain and or attract customers for a single product or service that you're trying to do. So if I was partnering with Bank of America to offer small business assistance and training, and then once they pass the training, Bank of America would lend them $5,000. Okay, so that's a partnership. They will advertise my training or courses. I will advertise that they are offering $5,000, and then customers are going to line up and sign up because they want that $5,000, right? So that is a partnership between ALSTNTEC and Bank of America. Now that's fictional. We don't actually have a partnership, but I do have partnerships that are similar with other, banks or other businesses where if they refer services to me, then of course I do the service and, they pretty much get the customer coming back the other end. Okay. So the time to invest, okay. You have to spend time learning about the company in which you're trying to partner. Okay, you can't just partner with anybody. That company has to align both companies have to align their mission in order for them to feel like that they're going to get a rate of return. Okay. They have to understand the value that you are bringing to them because you already researched the value that they bring into you. So before you go out and try to partner with someone, you have to really understand that company and trying to figure out, are they really a match for partnership? Can I really leverage that company where we add value to each other, where they'll help me grow and I will help them grow? Okay. Strategic alliances, however, is a little bit different. So alliances could be businesses that you are not particularly partnered with, but you have an alliance with them to work together for a common goal. So for example, Austin, not Austin Tech, Destination Achievers has a strategic alliance with the Department of Veteran Affairs. Okay. They're not allowed to actually like sponsor or give a donation to Destination Achievers because we're helping the veterans, but they have helped us by lending us speakers or lending us photos or lending us a point of contacts that will further push our agenda to the community. So Department of Veteran Affairs will say, hey, there's a conference coming up. We want to take that event and we want to share it with all of the people at the veterans thing. And we will come out and have a table and we will talk to people and you can use our logo as a sponsorship. And that sponsorship is an in-kind sponsorship. So that's a strategic alliance. That is me going out there and aligning myself with an organization that wants to or believe in the same cause that I have, right? So that's a strategic. So basically, it will be the same thing. You will still have to have your time investment. You will still have to understand what value that the alliance is going to hold for that. And the value is definitely the rate of return. That could be exposure for your business and exposure for that organization associated with your cause. Okay. One thing you want to do for both of these is you want to keep your word at all costs. Do not promise anything that you are not going to you're not going to keep. You know, your value proposition for your business is your word. So definitely want to do that because if you lose a sponsorship because you didn't keep your word, it will get around and you will probably won't get a partnership or alliance with that company if they realize you're not keeping your word. So partnerships is very important. The growth is phenomenal. I can tell you that my business have grown. I'm still a small business, but I definitely have grown from where I was 5, 6 years ago. Businesses need other businesses to grow. If you're not aligning yourself with other businesses to get connected with them and actually utilizing some of their services to help you and you lending your services to help them, both businesses will not really benefit and you will actually feel like you're alone out in the island by yourself. So you definitely need businesses. And I posted on social media that businesses who feel like they don't need business will be out of business. And most of that is true because you're not opening yourself up to opportunities. So you definitely have to have opportunities. You want to also work with your partner and your alliance to celebrate your rate of return. So if the event was successful and everybody was happy, then that means future partnerships, future alliances, future events, or maybe they will actually lend some monetary help to you. If you build the right relationship with that company, they will help sponsor you with monetary funds. You just have to nurture that relationship, and that's really, really important. So, you know, developing that relationship early on before you actually partner with them is very key. So you can call them up, tell them what you're trying to do, have a few conversations, invite them out to your event, invite them out, you know, to your or even on a virtual webinar and build that relationship with them. And then once you build that relationship with them, then talk to them about, hey, would you love to partner with me to do an event? Would you love to work with me to do blah, blah, blah? And then they would definitely say, yeah, I would definitely love to do that. And then now you're growing. Now you move to the next level, right? And that's what it's all about. So does anybody have any questions? You know, I mean, I said a whole lot, right? So does anybody have any questions? You know, any questions at all? Okay. All right, so this is very insightful. Awesome. Okay, so where do you get help? Okay, so if you are ready to start a virtual business, if you need help at all, the first thing I will highly suggest, because I am a business person, is that you go to my website and become a free member, and you can attend one of the courses that we're having. You can definitely attend one of these webinars that we are doing right now, or you can engage with me on some sort of custom training for your business, or maybe know-how or consultation. That's the first thing, because you want to make sure that you're doing it right the first time, that you're not wasting time and money, that you're not getting the wrong information. You want the right information the first time. So you can definitely go with that. If you're not sure what you're trying to do, you can call me for a free 30-minute mentoring session. It's definitely free. You don't have to pay anything for that. It's me and you talking about what you're trying to do and me giving you guidance, whether that will be with me or someone else. You definitely have tons and tons of YouTubers out there who are doing this type of thing. I would highly encourage you to look at that, because that is going to be what you're going to gauge and measure yourself against. What they're doing in terms of virtualism is just one piece of what you're going to be doing for your own business. So you have your business in general that you have to develop. And so now you're adding this element of virtualism, right? So how do you do that? One is building your confidence by watching other YouTubers, okay? And they will actually show you all these little tips and tricks that they're doing in their video that could probably spark an idea for yours, right? So you can also reach out to the small development business centers. They have mentors there that they can help point you in the right direction. However, if you do need something structured, if you need to walk through something, you want someone to take their time with you, that's where you will come to Austin, Texas. We're the only ones that offer that in Maryland. Nobody else does. So I'm going to put that back out there as an offer. You also have SCORE. SCORE is also a nonprofit organization here in Maryland, and they have mentors and checklists and all kinds of stuff that you can find online that will help you start your business. But most importantly, you have to build a foundation for your business, regardless whether it's in person or virtual, through business planning and understanding your concept and your message. So just by having that, you should be able to do that, plus also add a virtual element. So this is where you can find me on my website, www.alstntech.com. You can also email me at info@alstntechsmallbusiness.com, and you can call my cell phone, which is right here on the screen, 301-500-8010. And I want to thank you for joining the webinar today. I hope you liked it and hope you gained a lot from it. And this is definitely going to be reposted on my YouTube page. You can definitely find that by just typing Austin Tech in YouTube or BMWC in YouTube. You'll find my YouTube page. And I'm also going to be probably reposting this on my Facebook page as well for those who missed it, who registered and couldn't be here. But I'm really thankful for the folks that did join, for me to get a chance to share this information. And so you guys can take yourselves off mute if you want and just talk to me directly.
Sorry, I know I just missed the last few parts. I had to, my son I had to go tend to him, but this was very
Mm-hmm.
informative. And I got some extra information here, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad I was here.
Well, good. Excellent.